I'm not surprised with this truck anymore. Whoever installed the fancy EFI setup just said, you know what, I'm just gonna grab this here bolt that's not the right size and it's smaller, and I'm just gonna run it down in there. Nobody's gonna know. Guess who knows now? Wait a minute. Instead of, cutting this out and welding in a new piece of metal and drilling a hole for the motor mount, kind of welded the motor mount to the cross member. Ugh. Welcome back to the channel. Back on Cookie Monster, my 88 OBS Silverado. Got an announcement for you guys and gals. I got 2 sponsors on board with this build, and I could not be more excited and I could not be more appreciative of these companies coming on board and supporting the channel and supporting this build. Number 1 is Slosh Tubs. I stopped by their facility in Arkansas and picked up a set of their inner fenders and filler panels. That's really going to dial in the look of this engine bay. And number 2, Tinworks Fabrication is coming out with a brand new OBS frame stiffener. Now, if you guys and gals know anything about these truck frames, is that they have a ton of slop in it. So when you start handling and trying to drive this truck around an autocross course, you're gonna have a ton of body flex. Now, this frame stiffener is really gonna help cut back on that and make your suspension handle significantly better, especially if you've gone with a setup like this Ride Tech coilover suspension. Anyway, I have a ton of work to do before I can even think about putting this truck back together, so let's get to work. Taking off this harness is a little easier with that new Edelbrock fuel injection system on here, because half the harness is already labeled, but then it's mixed in with half the harness that's not used, which is why I'm just going to rewire the whole truck. So I'm going to work with Steve and over at Mirror Image Auto Body to paint this, and he did the dually, but I'm going to take on more of a prep roll with this truck and try to do as much prep for him that I can, and obviously I'll get it as good as I can get it, and then he'll take it to the next level. But he's actually getting a dustless blaster. I think I said this in the first video with this truck. It should be here like in a week, so I'm hoping that we could use that dustless blaster to test it out on the frame, because when the frame was painted, it was painted with a brush-on paint. And I know you can't see this stuff, but like this is a bristle from that brush. And that stuff's kind of all over the place. So I'm going to get the engine and transmission out. And now I'm going to strip the whole suspension off of the truck, which is something that I wasn't really planning on doing. But it's like, man, we're this close. Famous last words. Might as well just go a little bit further. Might as well just do the dustless blasting on the frame. Here's your main harness for the Edelbrock fuel injection. Put that right there. I accidentally ripped out the connector for the distributor, so I'll have to put that back in. My bad. Also, the distributor wasn't even tight. And did I mention that the radiator was just full of water? I mean, I'm not complaining about it. I just didn't know it was full of water. Going to be redoing this fuel line here. So it's looking like the fuel line is going to be run on that side of the frame. The way they have it running right now is it comes up over here, and then it goes by the header, and then goes under, and then comes up by this header, and then it comes in over here, and then this fuel rail gets fuel, and then it goes over with a crossover, and then they have it blocked off up here. So I'm thinking I could just do the crossover up here and then put the fuel line in back there, and that'll probably help with the fuel getting hot, because you're only running by one set of headers and not preheating it with one header and then going under the other header. And of course, we're going to put some heat wrap on it too. Oh, don't forget about this mess of ground wires down here. This ground wire the terminal is so big it just pulled out over the bolt head. I'm not surprised with this truck anymore. Now, you know, something I'm thinking for this truck. Don't even know if I should say it, because I'm like 50-50 on it right now. Got to see where the money comes in. But I know that a lot of you guys and gals are not happy that I'm keeping this old 350 in here, even though it's brand new, with a brand new transmission. Would it make you feel better if I put like a Pro Charger on it? You know, maybe we could push like 600 horse out of this thing. Maybe 7. I don't know. I mean, I've been looking at those Pro Charger kits and they look pretty cool. And I think that might be a better setup for this old truck. Especially now I'm getting the frame stiffener. We're going to be cleaning everything up with the slosh tubs. I mean, could you imagine a big old Pro Charger just hanging off the side right here? Yeah. I don't know. I got to see where we come in with that one. Just cover it up a little bit there. Got the old front runner assembly here. Looks like a billet plate. So if we take off our belt, take off our pulley for our water pump, the bolts that are going through the plate that are holding the water pump on, looks like everything will come off. Then we could take off our harmonic balance puller and water pump. It might get a little tricky. It's a really nice belt. All right, so how do I want to do this here? That's pretty heavy. There we go. There we go. Ooh, got some oil coming out there. Looks like some oil's getting past this keyway on the harmonic balancer, so I might have to pull the harmonic balancer now, which not a big deal. Add it to the list. You may recall on one of the first videos I did on this truck, I had said there were a couple of fasteners that were stripped going into the brand new aluminum heads of this 350. And I think I was wrong. Something even better has come to my attention. This is a 3/8 16 bolt that is the correct size for the intake manifold. Now, in one of those holes was this little guy. Now, this is a 5/16 18 fastener. That is the incorrect size. It is too small for the bolt hole. So that tells me that the fasteners aren't stripped, and the guy that installed them said, you know what, I'm just gonna throw these in there and nobody will ever know. But guess what? Joke's on them, because we all know now that he used the wrong fasteners to put on this killer Edelrock Pro Flow 4 fuel injection setup. You know, I want to say that, like, I'm just, like, nothing else is going to surprise me on this truck, but I mean, it's everything I'm looking at. It's like I found a razor blade on the back side of this intake manifold just rusting away. Like, what if I was reaching around back there trying to hook up my oil pressure gauge or something and just slice my finger open? Let's get this motor out of here. Actually, let's get this intake off, then we could talk about getting the motor out. Oh, it's so clean in there. Can't get rid of this motor, guys and gals. Can't do it. I mean, look at how perfect and clean everything is in here. That's hard to beat. A lot of y'all are not happy with the fact that I'm keeping this 350 in the truck. I mean, you guys saw it. It's brand new, man. It's got 500 miles on it. Why in the world would I tear this out to dump an LS in it? I mean, dude, this thing is going to make plenty of power, and it's going to be plenty of fun. Plus, it already has fuel injection on it. So everybody relax. The engine is killer. So don't worry about that part. Let's just worry about getting it out of here so we can get the rest of this truck disassembled. Starting to rain. Perfect timing for this. Got to knock out these through bolts for the engine mounts. Sorry, Chad, not the other Chad. I left my ball peen hammer in the cab and it's buried under some tools, so I got to use the old claw hammer. Cardinal sin when you're working on an old or any car. Actually, let me use this claw to dig out this old bolt here. Well, that's pretty useful. There we go. Oh, hang on. Whoa, 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 easy. Now I gotta separate the transmission from the engine. There are 3 bolts that go from the flywheel into the torque converter. And with this cover off, we can access them. I like to grab a pry bar, or if you have, like for LS motors, I have a little tool that bolts in place so where the starter is on the other side, and it holds everything still. One thing you can do too, if you're not taking the transmission off, is mark where the harmonic balancer is, the timing mark on the harmonic balancer, or take note of where the mark is on the harmonic balancer, and take note of where one of the lifters are at in the firing sequence. So what I did was I marked on the distributor where the rotor was pointing. So if you were just going to take this out and put it back in, you could quickly reference where the distributor should go and make sure that it's not 180'd out. This, I took a look at the cam specs, not real impressed with it, gonna be honest. We got like a 441 lift or something like that at a 2, I can't remember the duration, but might be changing the cam on this one. So that might be all for nothing, but hey, at least you got a little tip out of it, right? Should probably take the spark plugs out. Oh, that was a little tighter. Whoa, starting to rain again. Might need to hurry up a little bit. Put this on just for fun. I should just be able to slide her back. Watch your fingers. That's just water, don't worry about that. There we go. So I was doing some looking around, trying to see our rear main seal, see if we got any oil leaking over here, which I don't think we do. I think it was all coming from up here and then working its way down and kind of seeping in. But then I was looking on this side and, oh, wait a minute. Well, what happened there? I know what you're thinking. Dude, you just broke the teeth on your flywheel. Well, I don't see any pieces on the ground. I didn't hear any clanking. And that'd be mighty hard to break those teeth off of that flywheel with your bare hands. But I am a pretty strong fella. But I don't think I did that. I think we would have heard it. The surprises of Cookie Monster just keep coming. So we're gonna add a new flywheel to the list. I'm gonna get rid of that brick of a starter. Look at this thing. It's just like a OG equipment, you know, like OE equipment, GM starter. But I mean, the thing, that's gotta weigh 30, 40 pounds right there. Yeah, I'm gonna get a new one of them. Well, that's a tight fit in the garage right now. Always wondered why they welded on these motor mounts. So these are like clamshells, and this is supposed to come off because it's supposed to be bolted to the cross member so you can replace your motor mount. But they welded these on. So if you look at this one, it pretty well lines up with the mounting holes. So they basically use the top mounting hole as like a spot weld, and then I mean, I think this had to have been a flux core welder. I mean, it's pretty rough. And then on this side's a little different. Whoop. There's like a dent in the metal. I looked on the underside and it's like split. So I don't know if that's something they did or if that was, maybe it came like that. But this is where the mounting hole is for the clamshell. This clamshell is supposed to come down 3/4 of an inch and turn this way, right? So it's supposed to come down and rotate. This motor mount, the top of it is off of the top of the frame, and then this one's just about even with it. So I can't leave that. I'm gonna have to cut these off, grind it down, and I can't see a fitment issue. I don't think that there was an interference with anything which made them do that. I don't know why they would do that, other than the fact that these bolt holes are a little tough to get to because you got to crawl under the truck, and there's an opening down where the lower control arm is. I mean, is it easier to weld these on than to go under there and put a bolt in and make this non-serviceable unless you cut it out? You know me, we're going to do the right thing here. We're going to fix this. Later, though, not right now. I have to go right now. Moving on to taking off the front suspension. I did not want to go this far with it, but given the condition that everything's in, I really do not have a choice right now. Go ahead and pop off this old brake line. Oh, yes, sir.
Why is this not going up? Dad, help me. Is it going up?
Oh, that wasn't even tight.
What?
This wasn't even tight. All right, we're gonna have some bearings come out of this. I do not want them to hit the ground unless they're used, and then we're gonna get rid of them. Yep, sure is. Let's take a look at these bearings. These better be new. Yeah, they look good too. All right, so we're gonna reuse these. Let me look at this one. I'm looking at these seals and stuff. That's not jelly, bud. It's grease. Yeah, and this is a brand new spindle too. So, all right, so that's good. There he goes. Let's take off our spindle here. I'm just gonna remove the cotter pins on these castle nuts. Huh? Did he weigh back?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep. That's all she needed, a little help
Dad, look.
with the big guns.
My hand.
Is this the right size?
Bloody.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Let's give her some love taps down here. Blink, just like that. Okay. Well, I noticed on here it might be kind of hard to see, but this is the upper control arm, and it's supposed to slide back and forth for your camber adjustment. But all of the washers on the front, the back, they're all just welded in place. And it looks like they just split the difference on where the adjustment is. So that's not good. We're gonna have to cut these washers out, but for now I'm just gonna take off these bolts and then take off this upper control arm. Yeah, see, so that washer's welded on. This could have been done before too, so I'm not sure when this was done, but it's done, and we gotta undone it. Yeah, see that one right there? She's just welded on. Just got to remove this lower coilover bolt. We should be able to drop this thing out. Yep. Just like that. No. Nope, not doing that. All right. There we go. Wrapped up the passenger side. Get ready to do the same thing on the driver's side. Listen to this. Wheel bearing's loose. So I'm assuming that the castle nut that holds the wheel bearings on are just gonna spin right off without any assistance. But let's go ahead and get started on this. And time to get this old gas tank out the way. I got to disconnect everything right here, which I'll do that in a second. And there's a bracket right here, but the strap that holds the tank to the bracket, the bolt's bent. So I won't be able to get that off. And then there's another bolt right here that has another strap. So we'll take off this bracket, undo this strap, and we should be able to drop the tank. Got a jack right here just off camera. That should make it easier. Also, I went ahead and drained out as much gas as I could to make this a lot easier. Oh man, it looks like they reused the over. Yeah, they did. These are cracked. All right, Jim. That's cool. Oh yeah, here we go. Whoop. I don't even know. Let's put it back. Ah! Hang on a second. Yep. Yep. Ooh, yep. Oh, my shirt's getting gas on it. Oh. Whoa. Well, now that's out the way. Finish removing these frame clips and get this junk out of here. Yeah, there's some gas still in there. Okay. That hurt my back a little. Oh, that's all together. Yep, there we go. All right. Well, hang on. There it is. Okay. I can get this greasy spaghetti out of here now. Uh-oh. So happy to see this thing getting down to the bare bones. Okay. Just gotta get rid of these brake lines and we're good. I don't think we're gonna be able to reuse this exhaust. But we'll hang on to it for now. I just need to clean it up, that's for sure. Maybe somebody else could use it. About time to start taking out the rear axle, which it should be that bolt right there, the two upper coilover mounts, and then these two trailing arm mounts. Should just be able to roll it back out the way. That'll be nice. Before I go all willy-nilly and removing the rest of this rear axle and all that stuff, I gotta show you guys what we gotta prep on the frame for this Tinworks Fabrication OBS frame stiffener. I have to remove the spare tire cross member because I'm gonna use a Tahoe fuel tank. So while I'm back here, we've eliminated the need for these leaf spring hangers. We've also eliminated the need for these shock mounts. So those are gonna be gone. And I can come up here and I could cut out the fuel tank cross member. And then we're gonna remove the transmission cross member as well. So basically, the frame stiffener starts here from what I've seen and is your transmission cross member. And then it moves on the way back here. You cannot have a side mounted fuel tank with this cross member. And it works its way back and opens up in front of the rear axle. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably my least favorite thing that I'm gonna have to do to this truck is cutting out these rivets. I'll show you on one of them, but the process is gonna basically be the same. These cross members are riveted in, so you take your grinder and you cut an X in it, and then you get an air hammer or an air chisel, and you can knock the top of this rivet off, and then you could punch it through the frame. Once you get all of them out, you can work it out. A lot of times they are very tight, so sometimes you have to cut it. But let me show you how to get one of these rivets out real quick. Well, that one really wasn't too bad. Just have 25 to go. Yeah, I moved like 3/4 of an inch, which there's not a whole lot of bracing back here right now, so. I gotta take a break. Now that the spare tire cross member is out of the way, I could go ahead and remove the third link that attaches to the rear axle, remove the coilover springs, and remove the trailing arms. Now the rear end is free and I can push it back out of the way and start removing that fuel tank cross member. Oh, I hit my knee right on that bracket. Oh man, right in that soft spot. That's gonna bruise for sure.
Dad,
Yeah, buddy.
can you help me get the milk, chocolate milk?
Get Walker to help you, bud. There we go. Yeah, these suckers didn't want to come out. Now again, I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to remove, but judging by the drawings, that's what it looked like I was supposed to remove. Still got to remove the transmission cross member, but that just bolts in. That is easy work. But the good thing about all these cross member pieces that are riveted in, if I wasn't supposed to take it out, you could literally just put it back in place and bolt it in. So now that the back half of the frame is pretty much done, I got to turn my attention to the mess up front. Got to cut off these motor mounts. I got to cut off the washers they welded on the upper control arm mounts. And then I think this frame's ready to go in the trailer and get it over to Steven at Mirror Image Auto Body to do a dustless blast on this unit. It's just as easy as that. Oh, sorry. It's got this old motor mount cut off here. Looks like they might have been dealing with some rust. I think I had mentioned before, I could see something from the underside that it was split and pushed in. You can kind of see that here. Really hard to tell in the video. But instead of, cutting this out and welding in a new piece of metal and drilling a hole for the motor mount, they just kind of welded the motor mount to the cross member. So I'm not a welder, but I know I could do better than that. Ugh. Well, I've been working this area right here. Looks like I don't know. Maybe it was rusted, or that's a really weird spot to get rust. But nonetheless, I'm going to cut it out and I'm going to weld in a new piece of metal. This shock bracket for the passenger side actually is the exact same thickness as the cross member. So I'm just going to and then go ahead and spray some weld-through primer on the back of my piece here. All right, full disclaimer, I am not a welder, and I don't claim to be one at all, but I got a welder, and I'm halfway decent at it. So let's see if I can make the right repair on this cross member. Also, let me know in the comments below how I did. That's probably a bad idea. There's like a slight contour, so I think I'm gonna maybe tack this side first so I can work this other side down. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that looks pretty dadgum good to me. Whoops. Might not be moving fast enough. Slow the wire speed down a little. Turn the heat down just a smidge. Yeah, buddy. I like it. I mean, that's not too bad for a beginner. Yeah.
Oh, what do you do?
I was welding.
Here.
So there are some areas that it's not fully penetrated, but I think I'm good with that. Again, I'm not a pro, but this is going to be structurally sound enough to be able to run the OG motor mounts. So I'll probably clean this up on the backside and hit it with some weld-through primer and call it good. Well, not too bad for a guy that doesn't weld. I went on the backside and, I mean, it's not pretty. Yeah, I just went through on the backside and did some spot welds the best I could. It's kind of hard to reach up in there. And then hit it with some weld-through primer after I cleaned it up a bit. But I'm thinking that I backed off on the heat halfway through the weld. So the bottom, that had like nice full penetration. and then I went up the sides a little bit. And when I got up here, I backed off the heat because I started to blow through, and went down the wire speed a little bit. But maybe I shouldn't have done that. Should have just kept it at these settings right here. Right there. Anyway, that is going to be plenty strong for the motor mounts. The frame is 100% ready to go. Feels good getting that repair done right there. I was not happy when I found that. I don't think Bowtie was either. Garage is a little tight. I'm able to sneak the frame in right here. But yeah, man, it's just stuff everywhere. All my parts. I got to clean these all up. I'm going to paint half of them. Got to redo the rear end. That'll be for another video. Headed to Lone Star Throwdown just outside of Houston, Texas this weekend, and I could not be more excited to blow off some steam. I'm not going to bring one of the trucks with me because I didn't make it in time for registration, but me and one of my sons are going to fly out there and enjoy the weekend with you guys and gals. And of course, we're going to bring you show coverage to show you what that show is all about. And we're still waiting on Steven to get that dustless blaster so we could put in more work on Cookie Monster. I got a parts order in with Summit Racing. We're going to rebuild the rear axle. And oh yeah, all those parts on the windshield got to get ordered too. And I got to find the time to do that. But anyway, guys and gals, if you enjoyed watching me struggle during this video, why don't you click on this one right here, or maybe even click on that one right there, or if you hit that subscribe button in the middle, I would greatly appreciate it. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.